Ladies, I really don't want to be the bearer of awkward news, but if you've ever walked into a room and thought, what is that smell? It might actually be coming from you. Now hold on. Don't get flustered just yet. Doctors are finally shedding light on what they refer to as old person smell. And today, I'm going to tell you exactly what they've been trying to warn us about. These are 6 often overlooked spots on your body and in your home that could be the surprising culprits. So pour yourself a cup of tea and stick with me until the end. Because number 6? I almost slid out of my chair when I learned the truth. And don't forget to hit like, tap subscribe, and drop a comment below. I'm too classy to be musty. Let's dive in. 1. Behind your ears and the folds of your neck. Now hear me out. This one hits close to home because for the longest time, I didn't even know it was a thing. It all began one Sunday after church when my grandson, sweet boy, leaned in for a hug. He scrunched up his nose just a tad, not enough to be rude, but enough for me to notice. I asked him, "Honey, what's the matter?" And with the unfiltered honesty only a 9-year-old can deliver, he said, "Nana Grace, your neck smells kinda weird." I nearly clutched my pearls right then and there. I marched straight to the bathroom mirror and took a good, hard look. My lipstick was on point. My top was crisp and clean. But lo and behold, the skin behind my ears and the base of my neck felt tacky, almost sticky, and I hadn't even realized it. So naturally, I did what any tech-savvy grandma would do. I pulled out my phone and looked it up. Turns out there's real science behind it. As we get older, our bodies produce a compound called 2-nonenal, which tends to stick to areas where oil and sweat glands are most active. The space behind your ears? It's basically a hotbed for sebaceous glands, especially as we age. Add in a lack of regular scrubbing, leftover hair product, or traces of perfume, and boom, you've got yourself that dreaded faint sour scent we all hope to avoid. Let's be honest. We wash our faces, maybe swipe on some toner, but when was the last time you actually scrubbed behind your ears? Not a splash of water. I mean a real, thorough clean using a soft cloth, gentle soap, and a bit of elbow grease. Same thing goes for the back of the neck, especially if you've got longer hair or like wearing scarves, shawls, or wigs. Heat and sweat love to collect back there, particularly in the warmer months. Or if you, like me, sweat through the night. So now I've got a little note taped to my mirror. Remember the back. Since I started giving those areas the care they deserve, I don't just feel cleaner. I smell cleaner. And you know what? That little wrinkle in my grandson's nose hasn't made a reappearance since. 2. Underneath the breasts. Okay, ladies, it's time for a little real talk. Remember when they used to sit up proud and perky? Now they play peekaboo with the top of our pants. That's life. Gravity always wins. And as the girls make their way south, they create the perfect little space for skin-on-skin contact. It's warm, it's dark, and let's be honest, it gets a bit steamy down there. I know, it's not exactly a topic you bring up at brunch, but it's something we need to talk about. What makes it even trickier is that you don't always notice it happening, especially if you're wearing a bra all day long or layering up in colder months. That trapped moisture, it's a breeding ground. And once bacteria settle in, let's just say your favorite perfume is fighting a losing battle. Doctors call it intertrigo, when the folds of skin rub together, leading to irritation, fungus, and an unmistakable odor. It's very common among older women, particularly those with a fuller chest. But don't think you're in the clear just because you're on the smaller side. Even modest curves can trap moisture, especially when it's hot outside. Here's what works for me and has truly made a difference. In the shower, I lift and gently cleanse the area with a soft washcloth and mild, fragrance-free soap. Once I'm dry, and I mean bone dry, I dust a bit of cornstarch or a natural body powder under there. On extra muggy days, I'll even slide a folded tissue or clean cotton pad underneath for extra protection. It's an old trick I picked up during my ballroom dance years. And let me tell you, the number of women who've whispered back, "Oh my goodness, I thought it was just me," would surprise you. No, darling, it's not just you. But staying fresh down there, that's the secret weapon, because few things can age us faster. Not even crow's feet, like a sour scent and a damp shirt. 3. The inside of your shoes. Let me ask you something. When's the last time you actually took a whiff inside your own shoes? Go ahead, take a moment. I'll wait. We all have that trusty pair, those comfy slip-ons, favorite sneakers, or everyday flats we practically live in. We take pride in wiping off the dirt, maybe buffing the outside to keep them looking sharp. But the inside? That's the forgotten land. We treat it like it doesn't even exist. Here's what opened my eyes. A little visit to my podiatrist after battling some stubborn foot funk. He took one look at my lovely, reliable orthopedic Mary Janes and said, "These are your culprit." I nearly turned red on the spot, but he wasn't shaming me. He was giving me a wake-up call. You see, feet are sweat machines. Each one has over 250,000 sweat glands. And all that moisture? It doesn't just vanish. It sinks into the insoles, dries up, clings to dead skin, and builds up over time. Before you know it, your shoes smell like they took a swim through the Everglades, even if all you did was pick up the mail. Here's what I swear by now, and what I recommend for anyone, especially those of us dealing with more delicate skin and higher risk of fungal infections as we age. Sprinkle some baking soda inside each shoe at night. Let it sit. In the morning, shake it out. Works like a charm. And don't forget about those insoles. You can often remove them and give them a soak in warm, soapy water. Let them air dry completely. Give your shoes a break. Rotate them so they have time to breathe. Set them in the sun when possible. And if you wear leather, activated charcoal inserts are game changers. You can find them online or at your local drugstore. Because here's the bottom line. Nobody wants to squat down at the grocery store and get hit with their own foot cloud. Happy feet, fresh shoes, and you'll stride into any space with grace, not mystery funk trailing behind you. 4. Your upholstered chairs and recliners. Let me set the scene. It's the end of a long day. You've wrapped yourself in a cozy throw, settled into your favorite recliner, chamomile tea in hand, feet up, and the TV humming in the background. Pure heaven, right? Now picture this. You've been enjoying that same little ritual for years. What you might not realize is that your beloved seat may be holding on to more than just memories. Think natural oils, loose hair, skin flakes, and sweat, especially if you're someone who dozes off there or watches your afternoon shows faithfully. Over time, all of that gets absorbed into the fabric. And I kid you not, I once read that recliners can harbor more skin particles than your mattress. Let that sink in. Here's the twist. We older folks can go nose-blind to our surroundings. Our sense of smell dulls over time, so we might think, everything smells fine to me, until someone younger drops by and politely says, "It smells like Grandma's house in here." And let's be honest, that's not always a compliment. The fact is, fabric soaks up everything, even those faint scents that come from aging skin. And there's no shame in it. It's just part of being human. But that doesn't mean we can't stay ahead of the curve and freshen things up. Here's my go-to routine. Once a week, I dust baking soda over the seat and back of my recliner, let it sit for about an hour, then vacuum it up. It does wonders for neutralizing odor. Twice a year, I give my upholstered pieces a proper steam clean. Whether you rent a cleaner or bring in a pro, it's worth every dime. And my favorite little touch? I tuck a sachet of lavender and cedar right into the cushion crack. just enough to keep things pleasantly fresh. Got microfiber armrests? Those soak up oils like a sponge. Wipe them down weekly with a damp cloth and a drop of gentle soap. You'd be amazed what a difference it makes. Trust me, when your furniture smells clean and inviting, your entire home does too. And by extension, so do you. 5. Your closet. Yes, the entire thing. Okay, take a deep breath. We're about to enter sacred, slightly chaotic territory. Your closet. That magical space where outfits go in and rarely ever come back out. I like to call mine the wardrobe retirement village, because once something finds its way in there, it either becomes a permanent resident or vanishes into that shadowy back corner where time seems to freeze. Here's the problem. Even freshly laundered clothes can develop a musty smell if they hang untouched for too long. That scent? It's subtle, dusty, maybe a little sour, and it clings to you the moment you slip those clothes on. You might feel fresh and put together, but that old closet aroma? It tags along whether you notice it or not. So why does this happen? Because closets are basically little caves. Dark, warm, and shut tight. If you live in a humid area or don't open your closet often, you're inviting moisture to settle in. Dust builds up, and fabrics, being the sponges they are, soak it all in. And don't even get me started on wool coats or leather shoes. They hold on to smells like they're keeping secrets for decades. Here's what I do, and it keeps things feeling and smelling much fresher. Open your closet doors every few days and let the air move through. Think of it like airing out a friendship. Sometimes it just needs room to breathe. I use charcoal deodorizing bags and moisture absorbers like Damprid, tucking them into corners. Every month I wipe down the shelves and run the vacuum along the closet floor. You won't believe the layer of lint and dust hiding in there. And most importantly, don't be afraid to part with old favorites. If you haven't worn that paisley blouse since your nephew's wedding back in 2010, maybe it's time to say goodbye. My motto? If it smells old, it's going to make me smell old. So give it a wash, freshen it up, or better yet, pass it along to someone else who'll love it. 6. Between your toes. I'll be real with you. This isn't exactly a glamorous topic, but it's one of the most important. Most of us grew up hearing, "Don't forget to wash your feet," but hardly anyone ever said, "Make sure you get between your toes." And fewer still reminded us to dry in there afterward. Now that we're a little older, our skin is thinner, and our circulation isn't what it used to be. That makes our feet more vulnerable, especially to fungal infections. And believe me, the smell of athlete's foot? It's not just reserved for teenage boys in gym socks. It happens to seniors too, more often than we'd like to admit. I had a dear friend, let's call her Betty, who started noticing a strange, almost cheesy smell in her living room. She blamed the rug, the dog, even her poor husband. Turns out, the culprit was her feet, more specifically that tiny space between her fourth and fifth toes. Just the right mix of warmth, dampness, and bacteria. She was embarrassed, but she had no reason to be. It's more common than you think. That's why I never skip my routine now. Every shower, I gently scrub between my toes, using a soft cloth and mild soap. Afterward, I sit down and dry each little space with a separate towel. On sticky days, I add a bit of foot powder or a drop of tea tree oil. It's natural, smells nice, and keeps bacteria at bay. I also stick to breathable socks and never, ever slide into shoes without washing my feet first. You can be sparkling clean from your scalp to your ankles. But if you ignore those little crevices between your toes, that hidden odor will find its way into your shoes, your carpet, even your bedding. Our feet carry us through every chapter of life. So let's show them the care they deserve. And a generous sprinkle of powder while we're at it. Here's the truth nobody really says out loud. You don't have to smell like you're getting older just because you are getting older. Growing older is a gift, but picking up that telltale aged aroma, that's entirely optional. So let's be proactive. Stay clean, stay confident, and send that old person smell packing far, far away. And if you stuck with me to the very end, sweetheart, you're exactly my kind of woman. Be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to Senior Health Topics, and drop a comment below that says, "I'm too classy to be musty." And if you're craving more smart tips like these, go ahead and sign up for the Senior Health Topics newsletter. It's free, it's fun, and it's packed with the kind of advice your doctor probably never mentioned. Keep shining, keep smelling lovely. And remember, we're not fading, we're aging like fine wine.